Douglas County Commissioner's seat in Oregon. Scarlatos and two friends saved countless lives. They did a movie on this when they took down terrorists on a Paris-bound train in 2015. Now let's go down and underneath for two important people.
All right, Brian, thank you. A candlelight vigil drawing thousands in a tribute to law enforcement officers killed in the line of duty. One of those honored, Kissimmee, that is to say, police officer Matthew Baxter, who was shot and killed last summer. His widow and former police detective, Sadia Baxter, was there, and she joins us right now live from Orlando. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me here.
It's great to be able to tell your story and talk about your husband, Matthew. You guys met at work, didn't you?
Yes, sir. We met while patrolling the same beat.
You did indeed. And I know that because you're both police officers in law enforcement, in the back of your mind, there's always the worry that something bad could happen to one of the two of you. But you said at his funeral that you never imagined this happening.
Correct. I never imagining it happening to my household, and I pray that it never happens to any other household.
Sadie, tell us what happened to Matthew.
Matthew was killed with our sergeant, Sam Howard, August 18th, 2017. He was shot.
I know it's hard to talk about, and that's one of the reasons it's so important to you that so many people attended the candlelight vigil to honor those who lost their lives in law enforcement.
Yes, sir.
And also earlier this week when the President of the United States in Washington, D.C. Had the tribute to all the people who had died serving our nation. And you were there.
Yes, sir. It was extremely emotional for me. I felt sad knowing that my husband Matthew was not with my girls and I. I have a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, and an 8-year-old. But I felt so much joy as I stood up and I saw a sea of people holding candles, knowing that they support me, my family, and other fallen heroes.
Because that's what it's all about. We know that the cops have got our back, but it's nice to know that the people have your back.
Correct. I'm also a special agent now with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, and I put my gun and badge on every day knowing that I have a nation that stands besides me and behind me. As a widow of a fallen hero, as a mother, and as a law enforcement officer, I am proud to continue to serve our country.
Well, it's great that there are so many people who are selfless and will do what you do, but you know, the reality, as we have learned from the vigil and the tribute down in Washington, D.C., is for the tens of thousands of people who put on the badge and put on the uniform every day to serve the country and serve the people, you just never know what's going to happen.
Correct. We put on the uniform, the gun, and the badge knowing that it could be the last time that we see our families. But to me, and for my husband, who I know is protecting me and my girls, it's truly a calling for us. And I know that my husband is smiling down in heaven, watching over my girls and I.
Well, I know it's tough to talk about him because it happened less than a year ago, and there's a picture of
Yes, sir.
Your husband, and an award-deserving law enforcement officer. Sadie, thank you very much for sharing his story and your story as well.
Thank you so much for having us, and thank you to all who are watching who support our law enforcement officers.
We're behind you. All right.
Thank
Sadie
you.
Baxter, we thank you live from Orlando. All right, coming up on this Thursday, this illegal immigrant has crossed our border at least 4 times. Now he's been charged in a horrific shooting spree. How does something like that happen? We're going to try to put it all together. Plus, Stormy Daniels' lawyer is on a media blitz. He's been on CNN 74 times in 10 weeks. But at President Trump's peak, he was only on 30 times in 10 weeks.